Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Russ Halliday, and it is Wednesday, or at least it will be when this video is posted. And that means it's time to analyze, think about, and hopefully laugh at some of the varied e-wisdom that floats by on LinkedIn over the course of a week. Now, what is e-wisdom, you may be asking? Well, you'd know it if you saw it. They're little pearls of business savvy. They're normally shared in the form of an infographic or a copy and paste of a tweet. Small blurbs or one-liners and memes often about various business topics. While some are definitely, insightful and meaningful and worthy of discussion and debate and thinking about, others, well, they really aren't. They're really just worth laughing at. So we're going to do a little bit of each. So let's jump in and start our very first eWisdom Wednesday, looking at some of the eWisdom that has flown through my LinkedIn feed over the course of the last few days. Let's start here because this is an interesting one. It's a strong, clear statement, and it's even supported by a statistic for good measure. Here's how it goes. A well-defined brand can increase customer loyalty by 71%. So my initial reaction to this is that there's this little known fact that 83.7% of statistics are just made up on the spot. Now, I looked at this and I thought 71% is awfully precise. So I looked at the post that accompanied the eWisdom, and all it was a solicitation for people to contact the poster to up their branding game. There was nothing said about what constitutes a well-defined brand, nor was there anything to suggest how they came up with that incredibly precise 71%. And to be honest, I'm skeptical as to whether that statistic can even be calculated. Let's assume for the moment that you somehow find a meaningful sample of companies or individuals with well-defined brands for some arbitrary definition of well-defined. If customer loyalty among that group is up to 71% higher than those whose brand isn't well defined, can we even remotely be sure that the only variable that's different between those companies is the brand? I'm not sure how you could possibly be. And that's pretty unfortunate because it's very likely that the statement is, in fact, grounded in some truth. It certainly appeals to intuition that a stronger brand is likely to positively influence customer loyalty. I could quite easily believe that. Now, if there was attribution to some kind of paper or a study or heck, even an opinion piece that described any of this in enough detail to be credible, it would be a much, much stronger statement. So let's look at the next one. Here's another thought-provoking piece of e-wisdom. Job hopping will not kill your career. It will accelerate your income. So Toby is taking on a pretty thorny issue here, and it is definitely worth some discussion and debate. There is an unfortunate truth that many, and maybe even most, companies are way better at keeping up with market rates when they are hiring people than when they are retaining people. In other words, companies really rarely go back to their employee base to ensure that everyone's pay has kept up with market conditions. So in that respect, it absolutely can be the case. It's very common that you would get a higher salary somewhere else than you would in your current role. However, I still think the post is misstated and even maybe a little bit misleading. I personally believe it should read, job hopping will not kill your career until it does. It will accelerate your income until it doesn't. So to explain why I feel that way, let's start with the basics of what we even mean by job hopping to make sure we all have the same definition. So most companies will hire with the expectation that employees are going to stay anywhere from 3 to 5 years, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, depending on the industry and the specifics of the role. But if you're changing jobs every 3 years, for example, I doubt many employers would even bat an eyelash. That really isn't job hopping. However, I've seen an increasing trend toward people staying at a job for 12 to 18 months. That is another story altogether. So let's use that as a convenient definition to start with. If you are staying 12 to 18 months or less than that, you are job hopping. So now let me give you the perspective of a hiring manager, and I've hired dozens of people and interviewed hundreds. If I bring you into the company, I'm responsible for getting you up to speed and working effectively as quickly as possible. I can reasonably expect you to be well below your maximum effectiveness for a quarter, possibly even two, depending on the role in the company and so forth. Now, bringing you up to speed requires an investment from me and from the team. We are going to be less effective, helping you become more effective. If you have a demonstrated track record of leaving every 12 to 18 months, I'm fully aware that I'm getting myself into a situation where I'm going to need to make those same investments again in 12 to 18 months' time. For me to take a chance on you means that you have to impress me enough that I think you are absolutely going to kill it. Otherwise, it is simply less risk and less cost for me to take on someone who has an equivalent skill set, but who has a track record of hanging around a little bit longer. Now, sometimes things just don't work out at a company. If you join a company and it is a soul-destroying experience for you, I am not saying that you should stick around. You should absolutely leave. Once or twice, that doesn't make a pattern. But if you're on your third or your fourth company in 5 years and have never displayed any inclination to stay with a company for a more lengthy tenure, well, I'm assuming that pattern will continue when you join my company. And I will ask you about exactly that at the interview. And that's why I say it won't hurt your career until it does. There will come a point at which your resume is excluded or you are beaten out of the role by someone who can do the job just as well as you, but is starting with a clear intention that they're going to stay with the company and try to build something there. Now, if a higher income is the only thing that you are chasing, then yes, job hopping for a little while will probably bootstrap your income growth. However, you do take a risk that you will eventually slam into a wall. And when people stop calling you back for opportunities because they simply believe their investment will be better placed elsewhere, job hopping could very well be the reason why. I can see both sides of this argument. As an employee, you do need to look after your interests. And if you do see an opportunity for growth that is somewhere else, it would probably be irresponsible not to at least look at it. But there is a trade-off that is being made every time you do change jobs. Now, are you someone who has job hopped to good success? Or maybe you're a hiring manager who has a perspective on how you look at job hopping. Let me know in the comments down below. This is an interesting debate, and I can see both sides, and I'd like to hear some different views. Now, I'd like to finish off this eWisdom Wednesday with a blurb from someone who I respect very much. This is Adam Grant, who is a professor of organizational psychology, speaker, author, and absolutely someone who is worth listening to. So the post is about mentorship, and it goes like this. Bad mentors see you as building their brand. They take credit for your success. Good mentors see you as a younger version of themselves, and they will help you follow in their footsteps. Great mentors see your potential to be a better version of yourself, and they will help you find your path. Now, there's only one part of this that I question, and it's not really because I disagree with the sentiment, it's because I don't necessarily think it has to apply at all, and that is the part around bad mentors. See, I believe that mentorship is a two-way and completely voluntary relationship on both parts, between the mentor and the mentee. If you have a mentor who is clearly trying to leverage your success for their own gain, that's just not a mentor you should have. You can unchoose that mentor, and you should. You should simply just never have a bad mentor. The rest, however, is perfect, and there is some sage advice in there for anybody who finds themselves mentoring others. Are you encouraging them to be like you? Or are you helping them be better versions of themselves? It's worth having a look at the conversations you're having with your mentees and seeing whether you can up your own game by shifting the former to the latter. That's it for this first eWisdom Wednesday. If you found this video interesting, please do consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons. It helps the channel more than you probably realize. I will be producing videos like this every Wednesday, at least until the Wisdom Factory that is LinkedIn has all dried up. And you can catch my regular content every Monday and Friday. If you have comments, suggestions, feedback, positive or negative, please do leave a comment down below. I'm anxious to hear what's working and what isn't working so I can do better next time. So everyone, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.